Hey everybody, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining the community call. I heard there was a slight echo, so I apologize for that. But thank you so much for joining. So much has happened over the last 2 weeks alone, and with the help of a few other contributors, I'll go ahead and summarize everything best we can for you. Nate, I know you're up here as a speaker. Maybe you wouldn't mind starting us off. I know you're going to give us a recap of a few things that have occurred recently, starting with a couple of proposals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Cool. So, as we've discussed previously, development on both Carbon and Fastlane is tightly intertwined with reducing the remaining deficit in Bancor V2.1 and V3. So, I want to quickly dive into some specifics on both Fastlane and Carbon. So, let's start with Fastlane. So, for those unfamiliar with this initiative, Fastlane is a proof of concept module designed to capture arbitrage profits on Bancor ecosystem protocols and use the profits to buy and burn BNT in order to alleviate the deficit. And so, this is really a first of its kind innovation for DEXs because until now, our profits have always gone to external actors like our bots, MEV bots, and validators. And we wanted to design something that allows Bancor ecosystem protocols to retain this value. First, to eliminate the deficit, and then in the future, direct the fees towards whatever the DAO chooses. So, Fastlane was approved by the DAO earlier this month in governance, and the rollout will start slow with testing starting this week on mainnet. And so initially, Fastlane will support Bancor V2.1 arbitrage against a handful of exchanges. And then the next step is to support V3 and add additional exchanges to arb against. And then ultimately, Fastlane is also expected to support arbitrage on Carbon. So, a little bit more on the mechanics of Fastlane. Anyone can call the Fastlane contract and receive a reward for doing so, which is 10% of the arbitrage profit up to 100 BNT. And then the rest of those profits generated are generated by Fastlane and will be used to buy and burn BNT. So, as testing gets underway this week, you can expect to see the first Fastlane BNT burns on chain, and we will keep you posted on the progress on Fastlane. So now, separate but related, earlier this month, Jindo, a Bancor community member, posted on Snapshot a proposal to use 100% of Carbon protocol fees to buy and burn BNT in order to also reduce the deficit. The proposal passed with overwhelming support from the community. And so, as Carbon goes live, it too will be putting buying pressure on BNT and then directly affecting the deficit. And, I commented on the proposal at the time, but something to call out that is particularly unique about Carbon is that 100% of trading fees can be collected by the protocol without necessarily disincentivizing liquidity. And this kind of level of value capture really distinguishes Carbon from other DEXs. If you look at a DEX like Uniswap, for example, the Uniswap protocol collects 0% of trading fees, and LPs earn 100% of those fees. So, since uni holders don't collect anything, a growing group of uni holders are trying to turn on the fee switch through their governance. But there are some concerns in the community that this will lead to LPs leaving the protocol, since on top of being exposed to a permanent loss, the LP share of total protocol revenue would get reduced. Now, recall on Carbon that LPs are not motivated, they're not really there to earn trading fees, and impermanent loss is irrelevant. The sole intention of LPs, or as we call them traders in Carbon, is to execute trades at specific prices via limit and range orders. And so, this kind of unique incentive situation for DEX and it really allows Carbon to collect far more value per unit of liquidity versus other dexes. So I'm particularly excited to see those kind of novel mechanics play out as Carbon comes to market. Two more things I just quickly wanted to discuss. One is we are planning the first Carbon quests to go live around the launch. These, if you're not familiar with quests, they really incentivize users to learn about Carbon, and in our case, go through the process of creating a strategy. And they're incentivized by token rewards and other types of incentives they can collect for completing those tasks. So we think it'll be a great initiative to really get the community educated and to incentivize them to get educated on using Carbon. So stay tuned for the details on Carbon quests. Lastly, I published a blog post last week. Give it a read if you haven't. It's about sort of trading narratives in DeFi using Carbon. Now, narratives are, of course, kind of big thing in the space when you expect some event or development to have an impact on a token. You want to trade that news. And so my latest blog is really looking at how to use range orders to kind of effectively set orders that sell into pumps if you're expecting them, or really can also buy dips, really whatever you want to do with the range order, but using Carbon to kind of trade these narratives. So take a look. If you think of a way to use Carbon to trade a certain narrative or strategy, I always hope you'll raise it in the community and bring it to our attention. We're always excited to learn about these kind of new use cases that are going to come up for Carbon. So that is it for now. And thanks a lot, Jen. I'll hand it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nate. That was a great recap, and definitely excited for the two proposals and for Fastlane to begin. Looking forward to seeing those burns happen. Tiago, if you would, I know I've been asking you about the analytics dashboard and hoping you might be able to give us an update, and I believe this is the time.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
I can. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course. So the front-end logic and design is basically complete at this point. Back-end work has started on getting TVL volume and fee supported. We're also in talks with CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko for some integrations that we might be able to shed some light to in future community calls. And there will also be an analytics dashboard supported after the launch. Maybe I can also share, or you can share a screenshot of the dashboard for people to check out.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to be tweeting that here in just a moment and pinning that up there as well. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, that's it.
Okay, I'm sure we'll have some questions once we see what the analytics dashboard might look like. I'm excited to kind of reveal the sneak peek to everybody.
Yeah, of course, we're always welcome to feedback as well.
Of course. Thank you so much. A little bit more, I know that Nate had mentioned that he has a blog post that he had shared last week. A few more, initiatives that were taken. Zeno's videos have been amazing. He's been making a ton of great content. His latest order book AMM Carbon video in just 2 weeks alone, just the last 2 weeks, have over 5,000 views. And his introducing Carbon video has over 8,000 views already. They're both fantastic videos. All of his content has been amazing. Definitely visit the Bancor YouTube. They're in the community section. There's also a link that I'll share as well to Zeno's actual YouTube site, his own YouTube, for more great content. So I know that he's been working on a new video, so definitely keep an eye out for that. I'm sure he'll tweet it and we'll share it on Bancor and Carbon as well. It's been about 2 weeks since the release of the Carbon rollout plan. That is definitely exciting. We're going to kind of speak to the pre-beta stage that we're in right now with the UI UX demos. Tyler is going to be joining me here in just a moment. First, I kind of want to speak to the product a little bit. The original Carbon milestones that was released, the graphic, and included, the SDK and tech docs and things like that. So an update on those. The SDK, or the software development kit, is pretty much done and operational. The first audit report arrived. No major unknown issues were found. Later this week, 2 other audits should be starting. So we're definitely getting close to the finish line here. Technical docs are ready to be shared as soon as the security audit is fully complete. The Dune Analytics dashboard, Tiago, you might have mentioned, I know is going to be something that's going to be included after release. And I think that's it for the product kind of update here at the moment. Once we hear more about the audits, though, I will definitely be sharing more with the community. Tyler, if you wouldn't mind joining me, I know I had mentioned the UI UX demos that was named in the pre-beta phase of the Carbon rollout. Maybe you can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I would love to. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfectly.
Great. Yeah, so as Jen mentioned, we had kind of an invite round of interviews where we reached out to prominent community members and fellow builders in the space and got some initial feedback on the front end, which is currently on just Tenderly testnet. So that was really positive. The process was extremely productive, and it was nice being able to kind of share our excitement about Carbon with other people and seeing kind of the light go off in people's heads on what we're supposed to do with Carbon on the front end. And yeah, like I said, we got some really positive feedback, and we got plenty of critiques as well. So basically, product developers are now working on that feedback. I'm also working on certain things like the trading view charts that are integrated on the front end. And making sure those are linked correctly when you select certain token pairs. So yeah, it's been a great process. We'll be doing a few more rounds of this. So if you are interested or know anyone who might be interested in participating in this, it's really, really productive for us. And it's cool for the users also because they get a little bit of a sneak peek at what's going on with Carbon.
Thank you so much. Those were actually a lot of fun to host, like to have everybody on there and to hear what all of their feedback was. I did just share somebody's tweet after they had participated in the demo, and you can they got the sneak peek. They kind of shared it with everybody. So that was the round 1. But the round 2, definitely looking forward to that as well. And then Tyler, we also had spoken about a paper trading competition, the first competition that Carbon is going to be hosting. If you want to speak to that a little bit, maybe I can add on to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a really fun kind of initiative that was incubated in our coffee chats every Friday that Jen also hosts. So it's cool seeing kind of the community, brainstorm around these sort of, I guess you could call it marketing initiatives, just things to get people in the right headspace to start thinking about what kind of strategies they think would be profitable or interesting to deploy on Carbon once beta's out on mainnet. And yeah, there will be some cash prizes. I think we might do some NFTs there. I'll let Jen speak on that. But yeah, stay tuned and we'll have a tweet with some explainers and details about it. But definitely excited to see what we kind of collaborate from a community side on how to use Carbon, because there's the landscape of use cases for this product is vast, and I think it really will take a lot of people kind of brainstorming on the best strategies to deploy there on day one, because I think there's like hundreds of thousands you could deploy there. So we're just scratching the surface.
So many different strategies. Yeah, absolutely. Combining any ERC20 with any other ERC20, you can imagine how many different sorts of combinations someone can come up with and strategies they can come up with. And like Tyler mentioned, this was kind of incubated on one of the coffee break discussions where we've been sharing our own strategies and things and seeing how they've been playing out, and to have it expand out to, everybody else in the form of a competition, I think is just going to be so much fun, especially as we're getting closer to launch. It's really time we start thinking about how we want to create our own strategies and compare with others as well. And yeah, the NFTs mentioned, Nate had mentioned earlier that we're going to start with the quests. The first one is going to be the, alongside the paper trading competition. It's going to be a meme contest, actually, with the winning meme being featured as the actual NFT that participants in the competition can claim. So something fun for us all to kind of work on, see the different memes that people come up with, see the different strategies they come up with, and really just have some fun before we launch. In addition to, you know, what Tyler was saying, I think one of the things that I would really like to see as well, not just, you know, the front end, what's valuable there, but also hear from the community and from the DAO in terms of, you know, what we want the trading fees to be when Carbon goes to launch, you know, what sort of NFT we want to see, you know, associated with the strategies, what wallets do we want to see integrated, things like this. We definitely want to hear from the community and from the DAO. So if you have any opinions on this, please don't be shy, definitely voice them. You know, I want to hear from all of you in our Telegram group and in our Discord group. If you go to carbondefi.xyz/links, it's going to have all of the links there for the Medium, for the landing page, for all of our socials there as well. So please do visit and voice your opinion. It's all important that, you know, we hear from everybody, and it really is a community sort of DAO-led project. I think with that, there's not really much else other than to please keep an eye out for the paper trading competition and the meme contest details, because we are finalizing those at the moment and definitely looking forward to seeing what everybody has to come up with. So thank you everybody for joining the community call. It's been, you know, a rough time the last few months, but it's been such an amazing last few weeks seeing us kind of getting towards that finish line. And it's nice to be doing it alongside everybody here. So thank you so much. Thanks, Nate, Tyler, and Tiago for joining me. And hopefully I'll hear from you guys all soon.
Thank you, Jen. Thanks, everybody.
Of course. Thank
Thanks,
you, guys.
Jen. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.